Okay, we're running through 26th of September 43 still with the forgotten battles. And I wanted to get us through the balance of the movement and combat turn. And so we're at the point now where after, and what I'm showing you is the end result here. So in the Second Belarus front, these forces here, a three-step Soviet division and then two reduced Soviet divisions that are two-steppers, plus the armored battalion here, look to try and attack into this particular hex, which I believe is going to be 2824, and that didn't go very well. The sequence here was I had a little minor brain fart. Sorry about that. All right. So we came in during the reaction phase, and the Axis attempted to hit this hex with a very substantial set of aircraft that rolled a 2, so no effect. So we couldn't break up the attack coming in. We then had this unit in reserve as well, this artillery unit in the background here. It attempted to lob artillery at this hex, these other Soviet attackers, and that also failed. So regardless of what was going to happen, the attack was going in. So I then used air to DG or disrupt this particular hex, and that reduced the combat strength here. It was going to be it's a four-step unit. I'll just pull this off here. It's a four-step unit, but it had already taken two-step losses, so we were going to be halving the defensive value there, which would take it down to 8. And then we ran this airstrike, so that reduced it. It will halve it again to 4. And then from there, we ran the combat. There was no surprise. Unfortunately, the result was an AL1, DO1. So we lost the tank battalion because it was the lead unit running the attack for its effectiveness rating, AR rating. And these guys took the DO1 as a step loss, so they didn't allow the advance to, well, there wouldn't have been an advance there actually. So I could potentially retreat here if I wanted to, retreat one hex, but I think it's better that we hold the line here and we can try and reinforce with one of these other elements that are nearby. So that was the only attack that happened in the Second Belarus area. Now the rest of the activity is all the way down in the south for First Belarus, and I will quickly try and explain those attacks. So there's the first one went in here. I pushed up a fair amount of units, and also I'm trying not to pick up that magnet. There we go. I pushed up that's the 7th Guard Cav, and these two units, where are they? These units here. Let me move this. There was a division underneath here. Yep. And that armored unit. So I had quite a substantial stack there, and I neglected, it probably would have been a good idea, and I neglected to use air in the reaction phase here to try and slow down this attack, and it would have been worthwhile trying actually because of the significant number of steps that were actually stacked in this hex. So my bad as the German defensive player, poor play there. Nevertheless, the Soviets went through their artillery phases and disrupted units on either flank of the hex that we were going to attack, which was hex 9-7, and so that attack all went in. It ended up being that attack actually didn't have to go in because this was an artillery unit here, and when I pasted them with the 84 strength barrage, we actually killed the step. So then it became one of those a little sidebar note here, one of those optional rule situations where we took advantage of what's called empties, attacking empties. And so the attack formation here just got to advance into the hex. Meanwhile, that went on. We released reserves, and then the reserves were sitting here, and we advanced across the hex because it takes all of our movement points to get across this river. And so I moved just one element of the 7th Guard Cav into that hex. So not a substantial breakthrough, break-in, or whatever the case may be, but fairly decent. Final attack that occurred is just, I'm going to try and right on the edge of the table here, so my apologies if you can't see this, but there was another attack formed here. Couldn't get a disruption result on the Germans, but got a great attack there and actually forced them to lose a step and retreat. So that was good for the Soviets down here. Also very crowded here, and there's going to be some complications in the Axis turn when we see the Partisans have started to go to work with their zones of control, blocking things here and there. All right, so that's the entirety of the movement, the supply, the reaction, and the combat and exploit release for the turn. We'll do the cleanup. You don't need to see any of that. And then we will pivot over to the German turn. All right, talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.